Okay, so in this time, we're going to graph given the function rule. So here's your function rule. Y minus 2 is equal to the absolute value of x minus 6. So first of all, what's the shape? Because this is an absolute value graph, because it says absolute value function, it's going to be the shape of a V. Because it's an absolute value, those bars tell me it's an absolute value, and that's going to be your shape of a V. So the next thing is, remember that now you've got to go to do your vertex. And your general rule on this is, okay, y minus k is equal to the absolute value of x minus h. So remember that your k, and then this is your h. So I'm going to circle these. So, and then when it's inside that function rule, remember that your vertex, when it's inside that function rule, has to be the opposite of negative 6. So the opposite of minus 6 is positive 6. And then your k, the opposite of minus 2, would be positive 2. And so that description would be that I'm going to move it right 6 and up 2. Again, if you want to do arrows, you can. I don't care. If you want to write it like that instead of writing words, that's perfectly fine with me. So now we're going to go over and graph. We're always going to graph that vertex first. So I'm going to go all the way over to the right 6 because that's my x value of my vertex point. And then I'm going to go up 2. So I've got that point. And because this is a V graph, from my vertex, I start at 1 and I'm going to go right 1, up 1. I'm going to go left 1, up 1. And it's the letter V. So then I'm going to go over 2, and then I'm going to go up 2. I'm going to go over 2 to the left and up 2. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, over 3, and 1, 2, 3. I'm going to move to the left 3, and 1, 2, 3. And then what happens is this is your graph. So you've got this. So now there's your graph given my function rule. I found the vertex, I've described it. Now let's figure out the domain. The domain keeps on going. There's no restrictions on x. So if there's no restrictions on that x value, then I can say that it's all reals. And then the range, I go to my point and it's not changing at all. So that's the lowest that it will go. I convert it over to the y-axis, and then it goes all the way down. The lowest point that it goes down to is 2. So y is greater than or equal to 2. Again, the y value of your vertex point, k, is the same as for your range. That is not a mistake. So that's for example 1. Let's go to example 2. So example 2, got my vertex point. Now this has a squared. So this function rule has a squared, x minus 2 squared. So this is going to be a U-shaped graph. And remember that shape was y minus k is equal to, and then I'm going to go x minus h squared. So in order to get that vertex point, we always are going to go, this is going to be your h is there, and then this will be your k. So h and k. So the opposite of negative 1 ends up being positive 1. The opposite of positive 2 ends up being negative 2. So let's graph that point. I'm going to move to the right 1, and then I'm going to go down 2. I've graphed that point from my origin to the right 1 and then down 2. That's my vertex point. So now, because this is a quadratic, that means that I'm going to go through and I'm going to move it. When I move over 1 to the right, I move up 1 to the right. When I move over 1 to the left, I move up 1 to the left because 1 times 1 is squared, positive or negative. I'm going to make this a little bigger so we can see it easier. So now the next, when I move over 2 to the left, 2 times 2 is 4. So now I'm going to have to go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And negative 2 times negative 2, so I moved over negative 2. And negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. From my vertex point, 3. And I'm going to move to the right 3. 1, 2, 3. And 3 times 3 is 9. So I have to move up 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I can move to the left 3. 1, 2, 3. And 3 times 3 is negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. So I have to move up 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I can move 4 and 5, and I'm still going to get those numbers. I just don't want to because I think 3 points is good enough. So that's why I don't do it. But if you want to graph more, go for it. Okay, so that's your nice U-shaped graph. So it's a nice U-shaped graph. That description is I move it right 1 and down 2. So right 1 and then down 2. And again, my domain in this case, that x values, they're not changing. They're consistently going on forever because I can keep going. I can go over 4 up 16. I can go over 5 up 25. I can go over 6 up 36. Okay, I can go over 7 up 49. It's going to continue to change. It will never ever change. So that's why there's all real numbers. So then your range in this case, okay, as you look at your smallest point, is the lowest point that it goes, and it keeps on going up. So I'm going to transfer that over to the y-axis, and that keeps going. So the lowest point that it goes is at 2. So y is greater than or equal to negative 2. Again, this number, negative 2 in your vertex, is the same as for your domain. That is not a mistake.